What's the story, Pikachu? Man, maybe? Okay, I think I've got it. Pikachu says that Charmander's waiting on that rock for somebody to come and get it. Well, I'm not exactly sure who. I hope his trainer comes back soon. Let's get down to the Pokemon Center before it rains and listen to the podcast.
Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor.
And I'm Rena Taylor.
And this is
The Trainer's Guide. Today's episode,
Charmander, the stray Pokemon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We are here with episode 11. I can barely believe it.
I know, and this is a good one.
We are still in England. We've been in, well, I would say the London area.
Yes. I almost said the London Eye, but that doesn't actually mean any geographical.
No. And we didn't go in the London Eye.
No, we just looked at it. But
we were here
pretty big.
Last weekend for Wales Comic Con in Telford. And this weekend we were at London Card Show.
Yeah.
Just out here in Shepperton. Well, actually, Sandown Racecourse.
It was super cool to see the race course. And I think we saw a couple horses too.
We did. Today, when we were driving over there in the taxi, we saw a horse standing in a field, and you could see its breath. It was so cold.
Oh my gosh, it's so cold, which actually makes me think, I wonder if the Pokeballs have insulation.
They must.
Because do you think, I mean, the Pokeballs that we have, which I'm sure are modeled off of the real deal, are just like very thin plastic.
That's right.
So those Pokemon will get very cold. It was very cold today.
Frost on the ground, it was 1 or 2 Celsius.
So I wonder, I've never thought about that before.
Well, I will tell you as a Pokemon trainer, of course they have some insulation because they have some, I don't know, magical
It's got to be like a I Dream of Genie bottle or something like that.
Yes, because otherwise no Pokemon would ever go in there.
Yeah, they've got their own like mini fridge filled with their favorite juice and
it's probably
a little snack bar.
Maybe they plug in so they can refuel.
Which is why I wonder why Pikachu never wants to get in the ball.
It's already refueled.
It doesn't know what it's missing.
It's electric.
That's true.
Okay, so let's go on.
Copyright.
We have had a great time here in England, and as you can tell, we're in a great mood because it's been super. We've been sightseeing. We popped into Paris for a day.
Yeah.
It's been just fantastic. And now back to reality.
We are reality in our Marks and Spencer Christmas pajamas.
Yes, disco
we
Santa.
Are finally getting into the festive feel good. And I think this is really helping to set the tone for this episode.
Definitely, because it's raining here.
Yep.
And it's about to rain in the episode. But I get ahead of myself.
It's going to pour.
Our 3 heroes find themselves on the road.
Lost again for like the 3rd time, and it's only episode 11.
Yes.
This is like they get lost every episode.
Well, they do have a map.
Yes.
And Ash seems to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, exactly. I think Brock is navigating and then Ash takes over after a while. But they get lost. They've been on the hunt for Vermilion City for 10 days now.
Apparently 10 days.
Yeah.
I didn't think they ever had a reference to time.
That's what I was just going to say. It's always like, I've never thought that there was time in the Pokemon world, really. But they've referenced it a bunch.
And what were they doing for those 10 days?
Oh, my God.
What did they eat?
No wonder Misty is mad.
Yeah, she has a short fuse.
Yeah.
Ash says, I know where we're going, Route 24.
Yeah.
And
who knew that there was signage? I mean, I haven't seen any signage on the road.
That's why they're lost.
Yeah, exactly.
But the path is just a path. But apparently it's a route, like a route through the woods. Not a route that cars go on.
It's a metaphorical route.
I guess so.
Yeah. They're like, the route is in your mind. Just go down this dirt road.
That's right.
and it'll be just like Route 66.
Oh, wow. Historic.
Yes.
So, okay. So they're
on the way.
Yes.
And as they're going, they encounter a big giant mass in the middle of the road. And they go, what is that Pokemon? What could it be? Lo and behold, it's a tiny little Charmander.
On top of a giant rock.
And it's waiting for its trainer to come pick it up.
Well, we
that's what we find out.
Yes.
Because Pikachu gets sent to kind of communicate with the Charmander because Ash tries to capture it because it's so weak, because the flame on its tail is going out. And he is unsuccessful both times because the Charmander refuses to be captured.
And bats the ball back into Ash's face.
And then Pikachu goes and it talks to it and finds out, basically, well, actually, it finds out what happens and then mimes the answer to Ash and the group. And Ash figures it out.
This time, he seems to get it.
They're really bonding. I think they're becoming one already.
That's what they did in the 10 days.
I know, yeah. Lots of miming. And
charades.
Definitely.
Yes.
They are a good, I would not want to go up against those two in a charades match.
You sure couldn't.
Actually, I take that back. I would with Mr. Mime.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I think I could do it.
Maybe.
I think with Mr. Mime by my side, I think I could.
Probably anything. I'm trying to think of, my whole mind has gone down the road of Mr. Mime in the living room with Delia and probably Professor Oak sitting around miming charades.
I know.
And Mr. Mime has those big gloves on its
that would
hands.
be kind of hard to be very specific with gestures.
To do 2 words and sounds like his...
And
anyway,
does Mr. Mime know about stuff?
Does he even watch TV?
Right, because I feel like he could only actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, he could only actually mime like doing the dishes or something.
Cooking.
You know what I mean? His
gardening.
Yeah, his breadth of knowledge is limited to household chores.
Right. Which is not bad.
No, and I'm sure you could find a charades that's like
tomato.
Home edition.
Vacuum.
Couch.
Anyway, but we digress. We've really digressed.
Yeah,
we haven't even met Mr. Mime yet.
I know, seriously.
Okay.
He's just always in our consciousness.
True. So
and subconscious.
They decide that Charizard has rebuked...
Charmander.
I'm sorry, Charmander has... I'm really far ahead.
Yeah.
Charmander has rebuked Ash. Right. And so they say, all right, let's let it do its thing.
And it's waiting for its trainer who said that he would be back.
Right.
So Charmander is just waiting on this rock.
So they go down to the Pokemon Center.
It starts to rain, and they get in there. They're having some soup, which is a classic rainy day dish.
Mm-hmm.
And then they overhear a couple of trainers on another couch talking about their exploits.
Meanwhile, but before that, Brock was very concerned. I hope the trainer came back to get Charmander. And then they hear this guy talking.
A British guy. Which is appropriate because we're in the land of the British. So no offense to you Brits listening to this.
Yes.
We know you are better than Damien. But
and also,
man, is he annoying.
He's talking to these 3 guys and they're all laughing and saying, oh that's so clever of you to leave that no good, lazy. Didn't he say stupid? Something horrible.
Something really
bad.
And he's being really mean and talking about he's got all these Pokeballs on the table, telling them all about all the things. And he says that he left his Charmander because it was weak.
Yes.
And so he left it and it wouldn't leave him because it was so loyal. And he finally had to make up a lie and say he was going to come back for it just to let it go. And he goes, and he fell for it, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm here.
And as a side note, Maddie Blaustein is playing Damien.
Oh, yes.
With another British accent.
I know.
Which is pretty amazing. And all 3 of the guys that I'm pretty sure, I haven't verified this, but all 3 of the guys who are joining in with him are Michael Hegney, who also plays Charmander.
Right.
So
and
the
Maddie
last episode
is
Terra Sands was everything. And then, right. And then,
so this
Maddie later becomes Meowth.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, I believe it's Matt Sussman at the moment for this. Now, I'm not the best because we all never saw each other while we were recording, but I can recognize people's voices over time. So,
that's true.
Anyway.
And you know that it's Maddie being the British Damien.
Totally, I do know that. And Maddie's super nice. So, but Damien,
she's
super
a great
not.
actor.
Okay, back to this. Brock gets upset, demands that Damien go back and get Charmander.
Right.
And
Damien says, no.
Let's fight.
Right. You can't tell me what to do. Let's fight this out.
Luckily, Nurse Joy steps in and says, you can't use Pokemon in a personal battle.
Right, which I didn't know.
No, so that's a great
because
rule we've learned.
Because it's not fair to them, which makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show you already what an inconsiderate trainer Damien is, because
Doesn't
he's
follow
not
the
even
rules.
thinking about the care of his Pokemon. He's just thinking about himself.
Yes.
And defending his honor, which is interesting.
So they go out.
So it's really raining, and they decide that they are going to take matters into their own hands and get Charmander back, because they realize that Charmander is still in the forest waiting for Damien.
Somehow they borrow ponchos, and they all go running.
yeah.
I bet they have them in their backpacks,
I'm sure
actually.
they do.
Don't we all?
Yeah, color coordinating ponchos.
Mm-hmm. And so they go
It's a
running
must.
out in the ponchos, and they see Charmander
Oh my gosh.
the flame is going out, and the Spearow come to attack
You
it.
guys know the image, I'm sure, but Charmander's up on the rock with that little leaf
Oh, it's
covering
huddling
its tail.
under.
Because what we forgot to mention in the beginning is Charmander, if the flame goes out on its tail, it dies.
They say that so
It
many
dies.
times.
Like, this is very dramatic, and it gets very dramatic because the flame is really getting small.
So low.
And the Spearow come and start attacking it. And thank goodness for Ash and his friends, because they come in just in the nick of time. They get the Spearow away, and then they pick up the Charmander.
They use
Oh my God.
Pikachu with the
Yes.
Thunder Shock to electrocute the Spearow,
Right.
and luckily they leave.
Yes. And then they take Charmander back to the Pokemon Center. And they've got to use their ponchos to
Keep the flame alive.
I know. It's so dramatic.
This also reminds me, when you find, I don't know, a bird that has fallen out of the nest, or
yes.
you find bugs on the sidewalk and other things are coming to get it, and they are attacking the weak. It's just so real, and I think we can all identify with that. And luckily, we've saved some baby birds.
I was just going to say,
in our real life.
We had that in our apartment. A
Recently.
baby bird. We came across a baby bird that had fallen from the nest, and it was huddled up, and so we didn't know what to do. But we called animal control, and they gave us some tips. So they didn't come pick it up, but they gave us tips, and it turned out it was a baby bird. And they said, yeah, because I had picked it up and put it into a little
We
cardboard
didn't touch
box.
it with our hands.
No.
We scooped it up. But that person said that it isn't true that the mother bird will abandon the baby if a human
your
has
scent,
touched it.
Yeah, gets on it.
So I still won't touch it.
Right.
But
well, it also had bugs crawling on it, but those were like
the
tiny
the
little
ones they usually have.
Yeah, like tiny little ones, but those were normal as well. So that too, we were like, oh my God, but it turned out that was fine. But but he was saying, this guy actually said, just let it be, and it's in this stage of learning to fly, so it will kind of figure it out on its own.
And it did.
And it did, but it was tough, at least for us, to have to let
To
that
leave it.
go.
I know.
Because you're like, oh my gosh, I want it to be okay.
But
And-
we left it covered with a little
Yes.
leaf also.
Yes, we did. So it's our very own little Charmander, except it didn't come with us in the
And
end.
it didn't rain.
It didn't rain.
But
Yeah, that's
here
true.
they are covering Charmander's flame
Yes.
with the ponchos as they run back to the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, and they get there, and Nurse Joy fixes Charmander right up. It's tough, and it's a long night.
As they're
and what
waiting.
I think is so dramatic is that they're waiting, and Brock stays by the door the entire time.
Yes.
Doesn't move. He's just standing there. He's so determined to get Charmander back to good health. And Ash and Misty are concerned, but, tired, and they kind of loll around and lay down and get some sleep in between. But he is so dedicated and so concerned that he just stands there the whole time.
Yep,
And it's
and
really beautiful.
It is. He's so great and caring.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nurse Joy comes in and says, fine, Charmander's
Yeah,
fine.
Charmander is doing okay. But, it's going to need some rest. So everybody goes to sleep. And then the next morning, Brock runs in and says that Charmander has escaped from the Pokemon
It's
Center.
just gone, right? And so they deduce that it must have gone back to the rock to wait
Right.
for its trainer.
Right, because it's so loyal to Damien.
Which is really so dear also and sad that even though there is some abuse there and that
Right.
life has not been great with Damien, Charmander is, like
determined
you said,
to stick it out.
loyal and going to make it,
Right, exactly. So
make it work.
the three trainers decide, okay, well, we'll head to Vermilion City. And Brock is definitely very distraught and, doesn't really want to go, but doesn't know what else to do. And Ash kind of reminds him,
we've got to stick to our path.
Charizard knows Charmander knows that we are good people, but we've just got to keep going because there's nothing we can do about that.
Finally, Team Rocket appears.
Oh my gosh.
And they are digging yet another hole.
They are decked out this time in a lot of machinery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know how they've got all this technology. Just every week they can come up with some new things. And I guess they've had 10 days to come up with
build something.
A machine. But
well, the interesting thing is all they're doing is digging a hole.
They love digging holes.
They said if at first you don't succeed, this time we'll remember where the hole is.
Right, because they always fall in and don't remember where they put the trap, which I think is amazing. I love the traps, the hole traps. I mean, I know that that's a real thing that people do, but I just love that idea. So they make a hole with a giant drill, and everybody, it works. Ash, Misty, Brock, they fall into the hole. Pikachu is left outside of the hole. And they capture it with yet another piece of technology, the anti-Pikachu rubber balloon bazooka.
And they're wearing their anti-Pikachu suits.
Their rubber suits.
Yes, so they can't get electrocuted.
Yeah. And they shoot this big red rubber ball at Pikachu, and it goes bounding down. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then the ball just absorbs Pikachu, and it's this poor thing stuck in this rubber ball.
And they carry it like a sack.
Right.
It reminds me of those, on the hobo stick for when you're riding the rails. That kind of just the sack, or how you carry your lunch bag.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got this little bag of Pikachu, and they're just really congratulating each other. They finally succeeded. Everything's great.
And who appears?
Oh my gosh. It's Charmander. Charmander. And Charmander tells them, hey, guys, let that Pikachu go. It belongs with those other people. In its own way. Yeah. Like this. And luckily, they've got Meowth to translate. And Team Rocket go, no way. No way, Charmander. And it musters up all this strength and blasts fire at them.
Fire. And then of course, Pikachu joins in with an electric shock.
Suits.
No, they don't.
No, Pikachu doesn't join in then.
Oh,
Pikachu's still in the bag.
Oh, that's right. I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I watched the episode.
Excited. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You watched it a little too much, I think, because you're just getting ahead of yourself, girl.
Okay, keep telling us.
But they get blasted with fire.
Yes.
And they go, we should have had fireproof suits.
Oh, no.
As well. And they run off.
And Damien pops out of the bushes.
Yeah. Just like the little
trainer that he is.
The little rat-a-tat that he is. Anyway, he comes out and he goes, wow, I'm here to get you.
I've been looking for you.
Yeah, I've been looking for you. I'm here to get you. Now that I saw your power, Charmander, I really want you back. And Charmander's kind of torn, because this is what it wanted, but
he doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And Damien basically is, come with me. And all of our friends say, don't fall for this. He doesn't like you. He doesn't care for you. And it ends up that Damien agrees.
He shows his true colors, which I'm surprised at, but glad, obviously, for the end result. But he actually goes, and I would have left. I did leave Charmander there, and I did it. And good thing I did, because it toughened him up. So now it's stronger.
Right. And I don't like to do the training at all. It's boring.
Right.
And so I don't care about that. I just want strong Pokemon to come to me. I don't want to put the work in.
Yeah, exactly. And Brock is like, training Pokemon is the best part of doing that. So it's really a battle of two very different opinions.
Yeah. So
Charmander has to choose. And this is where Pikachu comes in. And Charmander, because Damien tries to capture it.
Right.
With the Pokeball. Right. And it's like flashback from the beginning of the episode. But this time, Charmander whacks the ball back in Damien's face.
And it gets stuck in his face.
Stuck in his face. And then he gets blasted with a fire blast and a thunderbolt or something.
Yes. I really do always get those confused.
I do too.
Luckily, Pikachu does not, although they do look similar.
Yeah.
And so Damien
I'm still not really sure what the difference is.
We'll find that out as it goes along.
Exactly.
But Damien is out.
Right. Bye, Damien. Hello,
Charmander. welcome to the team.
AMB.
Okay. Ash, Misty, and Brock.
Oh.
We'll save that for the Christmas bash.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
they join the team. And what I think is interesting, because this whole episode, I kind of knew that Charmander would join the team, but I thought that Brock would get it because
from watching the episode,
was so concerned. Mm-hmm. He's the one that, spearheaded everything. He waited, he's the one that really urged Charmander to get better. But he says, Ash, you should have it. And Ash does say, but Brock, this is all because of you. And Brock goes, I know, but I think that you'll do a good job. Yeah. Like, you kept the light going on the tail, so you'll make a good trainer for it. And so Charmander goes with Ash, and it's a beautiful, oh my gosh, at the end, Charmander leaps into the Pokeball. Just so lovely. And we really get to see how much more mature and selfless Brock is compared to Ash and Misty in this moment.
Yeah, maybe it's because of him raising his siblings.
Oh, yeah.
And how he always has to give in, let compromise with them. So he knows more about that.
Totally.
Ash is an only child.
Yeah, and Misty's the youngest, so.
That's right. So you can see birth order.
The dynamics.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I thought was interesting also today, we found out that Marty Krofft of Sid and Marty Krofft, all those amazing, I guess you could say my childhood TV shows like HR Puffin Stuff and the Banana Splits.
Oh my gosh.
Marty passed away. And I thought Damien looks a lot like Jack Wilde, who played Jimmy in HR Puffin Stuff.
Yes.
But because it's kind of a mod 70s look with those sunglasses on, but it would be Jimmy older.
Right.
So if you haven't watched HR Puffin Stuff, well, get to it.
Oh my gosh. You are missing out.
I know. Those shows, Sigmund and the Sea
That'll
Monsters.
That'll be our next podcast, is we'll watch and talk about those old shows.
So great. That Banana Splits is one of my favorites. Anyways, in the variety show idea that you have, they are the hosts and then you have all those different cartoons that come in. Anyway, I thought it's interesting that we had this episode today. And
that's true.
Yeah, that was on my mind. So I do think we learned a lot in this show about rules, how important it is to follow the rules.
And etiquette, I would say.
Yes, that's right. Respect, too, where we have our heroes, I'm going to say, standing up for what's right, standing up, again, to bullies, and what else? Loyalty.
I think loyalty, and I think this is a great reminder, when you're making friends or you're looking at the friends you have, it definitely is something where you can realize that you're bonded through a shared set of values. And Charmander is really loyal and really values loyalty, and that's a huge thing in this episode. And its trainer, and therefore, kind of friend, Damien, does not think like that, does not have that same mindset. But Ash, Misty, Brock, they do. And so you can kind of tell that they're going to get along better because they do have, that baseline of understanding. And I think that that's an important thing to keep in mind.
For all of us.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you all have to think exactly the same way. But I think you kind of can understand each other better when you have some set of shared baseline values.
Yeah, and the support that you get, it enables you to succeed.
Exactly.
And it enables all of you to succeed.
Right.
And you grow. Because even Charmander, the flame is back. And
it will grow bigger because it's being nurtured and loved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we learned a lot in this episode.
We had the seed of Bulbasaur last week. We have the flame of Charmander this week.
That's right.
What will next week bring?
I don't know. We had the rain of England.
Yes.
With our British Damien. We had soup. I hope it was potato, leek, or vegetable.
Oh my gosh. With a nice slice of brown bread. That's a little more Irishy than Englishy.
I know, but it's so good.
It's a universal
That's true.
deliciousness.
Comfort.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is a good time for the Poké Wrap-Up,
where we hear from you, the Pokemon community.
We've asked you to send in your favorite Pokemon memories, stories, and inspirations.
But this week is a little different.
We have a special surprise.
We've hit the ground and we're doing a little interview.
We're sitting next to Matthew Robert Davies at London Card Show. And
oh my gosh.
We have a tiny interview for you on the spot.
Let's roll the tape.
So we are at London Card Show, just outside of London, and I have a very special guest here today.
Hi, I'm Matthew Robert Davies. I'm an illustrator on the new Ravensburger Disney TCG game, Lorcana.
And your artwork is gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you mentioned that Pokemon was an inspiration to you.
I mean, absolutely. So I think Pokemon came out when I was 6, and like the entire world, I was just swept up in the show and then all the artwork, and then I had the Game Boy games, and then the TCG came out, and it was just Pokemon fever. So the amount of times I've spent drawing Pokemon, Pikachu, Ash, and I've seen like every episode of that show.
Amazing.
And then to sit next to you at the show, and yes, the fact that I'm doing a TCG now it's like I got my skills, drawing Disney characters from the VHS covers, and then Pokemon from the cards, and then the shows, and then the movies. And it was just,
wow.
It's just, you've been such an inspiration.
Yeah, and you are an inspiration. Your work is so beautiful, and just to see people coming up and admiring it and getting the cards, and gosh, it's been amazing to sit next to you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I mean, you're next level. Like people are so kind, and they have like their favorite characters with me, but with you, it's like, I only aspire to that level of joy that I can bring to people.
We will rise together that way. I think because people associate us with different projects, but really when you work from the heart,
I think
you can connect with people.
I think obviously Pokemon and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and then now I am working with Disney, that people have such a unique connection with those characters and those films, and it's something that I think we both have realized that over the pandemic, a lot of parents have revisited it and now have been able to introduce it to their children. I know my sister showed my nephew, and he's discovered the Nintendo, and then people come up to me and their kids, and I've done some Disney princess cards, and with Ariel and Elsa, parents are bring their children, and everyone. It's such a joyful property, I think, that we both work on.
Yes, yeah.
That everyone just comes at it with such a positive light, and it's so nice to have that reflected.
I agree, and it's so joyful to be a part of it. And I always say to be a part of people's families and to have them as a part of mine. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you are feeling that too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, it's been wonderful. The show, they're taking all the tables down around us, so we should end this now, but I can't wait to see you again. And everyone can find you.
Find me mostly on Instagram, Matt2D, that's MATT, the number 2, DEE. It's a really old one, but I'm stuck with it now, so we're going to go.
Right.
Yes, thank you so
much. I'll find you, and then I'll see you again soon.
I very much hope so. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew, for being so awesome and inspiring. But we want to hear from all of you.
Please email us a short recording or write to us at trainersguidepod@gmail.com.
And try to keep it short, maybe 30 seconds or so, because we don't want to edit.
Oh, and please include your first name and where you're from.
Well, that about wraps up today's episode of The Trainer's Guide. And, as they say, to be continued. We hope that you continue to join us on this journey that is The Trainer's Guide.
As you know, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you're listening now.
And if you subscribe, comment, and rate the podcast, it helps others find the show and keeps us on the air.
Thank you so much in advance for your generosity and all of your amazing support.
Trainer's Guide is a production of Boom Integrated.
We are co-executive producing this along with
the amazing Adrian Glover
and the incomparable Robin Lai. I'm your host, Veronica Taylor.
And I'm your host, Rena Taylor.
And this has been The Trainer's Guide. We'll see you out there on the road.